Citizens' complaints that they were being harassed has prompted a massive cleanup along Deerfield's public beach area. So far, close to 200 persons have been arrested on drug and alcohol-related charges. Deerfield Beach Police admit the situation had gotten out of control. So according to Captain Roy Vercotta, priorities were adjusted, additional manpower was moved to the beach.
We decided that it was time that we took the beach back over so that the citizens of this city and other citizens could walk up and down the beach without being harassed and obscene language used against them, the sidewalks being blocked and so forth. And this is what we have done by moving in and making the arrests for the alcohol violations and drug violations.
The drive began over the three-day Labor Day weekend when 132 persons were arrested. Police picked up another 44 this past weekend.
They range in age from juveniles to 24, 26, 28 years old.
Most of the charges have been what?
Drug-related, alcohol possession, traffic, parking violations.
The public beach area here at Deerfield has long been known as a favorite hangout spot for juveniles and young people. It's not uncommon to see drug trafficking right out in the open, along with alcohol consumption, vandalism, bad language, and a total disregard for traffic rules and regulations. But that's all changing dramatically. Deerfield police say they plan to keep their beefed-up patrols along the beach in operation until things settle down. From the South County Bureau in Deerfield Beach, I'm Eleanor Schano White, Channel 12 News. The discovery of human skeletal remains at a construction site in Highland Beach is not a matter for the police, but rather one for anthropologists and archaeologists at Florida Atlantic University. Last Friday afternoon, 2 construction workers building a condominium on A1A dug up a human skull, teeth, and several other bones. Well, since then, the remains of at least 25 people have been unearthed, leading Dr. Yasar Isjan to believe that the site of the new luxury apartment complex is that of an ancient Indian burial ground. In addition to human bones, Isjan and his team have dug up pieces of Indian pottery as well.
We have observed some fragments of cultural remains, such as potsherds, broken pots scattered around there. So we're going to use the potsherds as the evidence to date the site.
You mentioned that the remains might be part of the Calusa Indian tribe?
We just don't know that yet. Many people I talked to, there are some amateur archaeologists, and they said that, you know, there were Calusa Indians there. In order to determine what kind of Indians they were, we have to look into those small piece of fragments that we collected.
Isjan hopes that by reconstructing and studying the bones, believed to be more than 200 years old, more will be learned about the biological state of the American Indian, his health, his lifestyle, and his average lifespan. Meantime, even though there's reason to believe many more bodies are buried here at the site, the dig will not continue, since it would be too time-consuming and would interfere with the construction of the Parker Highland East condominium. From the South County Bureau, I'm Eleanor Schano White, Channel 12 News. This is the skull and skeletal remains of a 15-year-old male, an Indian boy whose life in South Florida could date back 1,000 years or more. On August 8th, construction workers building a luxury 8-story condominium on State Road A1A in Highland Beach dug up some bones. Since then, the site has captured the attention of dozens of local anthropologists, archaeologists, and historians. The experts all agree the site, no doubt, is that of an ancient burial ground for Indians who lived along the South Florida coast as far back as perhaps the year 1000.
They probably were connected in some way with the Calusa Indians on the west coast. But there was also a group of Indians in Miami called the Tequestas, and they went up about as far as Pompano Beach, so far as we know. Whether these Indians were part of that group or whether they paid tribute to the Calusas, we're not really sure.
More than 50 bodies have already been unearthed, and it's possible hundreds more will remain beneath the Parker Highlands condominium. Due to the construction schedule, the Palm Beach County Archaeological Society has only until the end of this week to finish the dig.
We would have liked to have preserved it. It's not always that easy. There are certain rules and regulations, and this is private property, and you can't just go in this country and say you can't do this or that, even with a case like this.
Even though the dig is just about over, the work is barely beginning for the research team on what is considered to be the most exciting archaeological find around these parts in a long time. From the South County Bureau in Boca Raton, I'm Eleanor Schano White, Channel 12 News. Double sessions, overcrowding, extra classes, and long waiting lines. That more or less sums up the situation on the first day of school here in the South County. It may be a new school year, but it's the same old story for students at Boca Raton High School. Split shifts, and the kids don't like it. Juniors and seniors in the mornings, but a minor change this year. Sophomores have joined freshmen for the afternoon session.
That we should have a chance to be with the upperclassmen. Like last year we had to go by ourselves. This year, I don't like being with the freshmen because we don't get a chance to do things we want as much.
Considering that there are at least 1,000 more students here than the school was designed to handle, it explains the desperate need for double sessions.
We will have somewhere between 2,600 and 2,800 students. We are in a double session because the building capacity here is around 1,900.
Meantime, Boca's middle school is also bulging in spite of the fact that sixth graders are being held in the less crowded elementary school, where for some unexplained reason, enrollment is down.
Really do not know why the enrollment is down. This is an older section of town. Perhaps we just don't have the children here that once were here.
It should be pointed out, public schools aren't facing the education crunch alone. The newest Catholic school, Pope John Paul II, opened its doors this year to long waiting lines.
About half of our present enrollment is from the Boca Raton area, so we must be having some impact upon them. Many of our students are coming from other private schools as well in the Boca area.
So to put it simply, the impact of the tremendous population growth on the South County has taken its toll on the education system. Not a new problem, but just another one waiting for a solution. From the South County Bureau in Boca Raton, I'm Eleanor Schano White, Channel 12 News. Well, they did it. Jim and John D. Donato entered the water at 7:13 this morning, setting out to establish a new world's record. The 26-year-old identical twins today became the first people to swim the tough butterfly stroke 10 miles. They arrived north of the Pompano Fishing Pier just a few minutes before 4 o'clock this afternoon. Jonathan, how do you feel?
A little numb. A little numb. I'm very, very happy, but I'm also exhausted. I feel good spiritually, but physically my body died about 4 or 5 hours ago. They have a theory in swimming, hurt, then pain, then agony. We went beyond that about 3 or 4 hours ago. Then there's delirium, and then you come back to reality. When you finish the end, you get a second wind right near the end. Come on.
What made you decide to do this?
Well, we wanted to prove something to ourselves, and then after that, hold on just 1 second, Jim, and we wanted to prove to other people, since I grew up and I was an average athlete because I was sick when I was a kid, and so was Jonathan. We had allergies. I figured if I was persistent enough, I could eventually become somebody who could do something that was special or even outstanding, and I wanted to be an example to other people that they could do something outstanding too.
There are no official records for swimming the butterfly, but before today, the unofficial record was 6 miles. From the South County Bureau at Pompano Beach, I'm Eleanor Schano White, Channel 12 News. The site of a new Boca Raton elementary school, now under construction at 6575 Verde Trail in the western suburbs, has been the scene of a labor dispute. Workers walked off the job last Friday charging they had not been paid for over a month. The project superintendent for the general contractor, Jansen and Company, told Channel 12 News that a subcontractor, James A. Monahan, failed to meet the payroll prompting the strike. Well, Monahan has since been removed from the job, and this morning, Jansen and Company agreed to pay the workers their back wages.
They had no recourse but to strike last Friday. And this brought an end to the conflict, I think. Jansen has agreed now to pick up all of Monahan's past due payroll.
The men have been promised their paychecks by Wednesday morning, but for one worker, the money's coming too late. He's already been evicted from his apartment, and he's watched his family go hungry.
No food for me, no food for my baby, no food for my son-in-law, no food for my daughter, which I can make it myself, but my baby can't. My daughter can, my son-in-law can.
How long did you go without a paycheck?
It is right now in the fifth week. Fifth week.
Are you satisfied today that this is all going to be settled?
I'm very, very much pleased with what Mr. J.J. Jones has come up with.
You're all going to go back to work?
We will go back to work, guarantee.
So the men are back on the job, on a job that's already 2 months behind schedule. James Monahan, the former subcontractor, he couldn't be reached for comment. From the South County Bureau in Boca Raton, I'm Eleanor Schano White, Channel 12 News. This is how America eats, or to be more specific, this is how folks in South Palm Beach County are eating these days.
Everybody wants things fast, fast highways, fast planes, fast food, fast mass, fast everything. They just don't want to wait anymore. Patience is gone.
No question, a lot of people are traveling through life in the fast lane. They'll give up the tablecloths and service for fast food, even if they have to stand in line to get it. An average of 12,000 people a day have been grabbing trays at the new town center patio in Boca, where 13 fast food establishments have been clustered around a common seating area. Now, if they like the speed, they also like the variety. You can get everything from burgers to baklava, or from tacos to taters.
Indicates people are more anxious to get out, enjoy their time, spend less time cooking. The traditional situation of 2 or 3 hours preparation at home is gone.
What we see here today sort of contradicts our tough economic climate, doesn't it?
It would seem to be, but again, if you study what is eaten, the availability of the diversification of the food. So if a family comes and somebody wants a hot dog, or somebody wants a pizza, or somebody wants some Greek food, or salad, or natural food, you can service the needs of the entire family or a group of people shopping together and still sit together. And you don't have the individual cost of trying to prepare all this at home, which would be very prohibitive.
The fast food phenomenon didn't just happen. At Town Center, developers spent more than a year researching eating habits in South County. It was determined that folks here eat at least one meal in every 4 outside their home. What's your favorite here, Father?
My favorite, Michelob and pizza.
And who knows, if this trend continues, the kitchen, once the center of American family life, could become obsolete. From the South County Bureau in Boca Raton, I'm Eleanor Schano White, Channel 12 News. There's been a dramatic increase in the number of armed robberies committed in the South County. Delray Beach has recorded the biggest hike, an 86% increase this year over last. Here in Boca Raton, the figures are up 26%. Sergeant Mike Knoll of the Crime Prevention Bureau thinks he knows why.
But what we did, we presented that particular question to an armed robber that we caught, and we asked him, why do you commit armed robbery? And he explained it was the ease. It was quick money. It was easy to do.
So then you don't feel that the current economic conditions are a contributing factor?
I don't believe we have too many people out there stealing to feed their families.
Although there's no foolproof method to prevent robberies, Boca Raton police feel if you follow these tips, you can help reduce the chances of being a victim. Number 1, keep visibility into the store at a maximum. Number 2, be alert. Frequently look out into the parking area and check for people loitering or cars remaining. Number 3, keep as little cash available as possible. Should a robbery occur, stay as calm as possible. Obey the robber's commands. Don't argue with him, fight with him. Don't use weapons against him or chase him. According to Sergeant Knoll, the police have a technical term to describe the person who tries to apprehend a criminal alone. The term is stupid. In a further effort to help cut down the number of armed robberies being committed here in the South County, the Boca Raton Police Department will sponsor a seminar next Monday night, July 28th at 7 o'clock at the Chamber of Commerce. From the South County Bureau, I'm Eleanor Schano White, Channel 12 News. No doubt it's the city's most famous landmark. the Boca Raton Hotel and Club, often referred to as the Pink Palace. Built in 1926, it stands today as one of Addison Meisner's greatest architectural achievements. Through the years, the pink stone and terracotta masterpiece has played host to royalty, heads of state, and luminaries from around the world. 11 years ago, the skyline of the city underwent a dramatic change when the majestic Towers was built, adding 228 rooms and a rooftop glass-enclosed restaurant. And now, nearing completion, the newest extension, the Boca Beach Club, situated on the Boca Inlet and scheduled to open November 1st.
One of the interesting things about the site was that directly behind us is a hardwood area that was the home for about 10,000 red crabs. And before we could start building here on the site, we had to go out and capture most of those crabs and relocate them throughout South Florida because they're an endangered species.
In addition to all the amenities of a luxury five-star hotel, the new beach club will have a positive economic impact on the local community, creating hundreds of new jobs.
The new beach club will have 212 luxury rooms, 180 of which will be on water, that is, have a definite water view. We'll have one luxury continental gourmet dining room that seats about 200, and then our cabana club room, which will seat 300.
The new beach club will no doubt have a favorable economic impact on the community. For example, how many new jobs will be created?
We think about 350 new employees, and that will mean that the Boca Raton Hotel and Club will employ close to 1,400 employees. Economically, we feel that the average guest, other than hotel expenses, is spending somewhere around $40 to $50 a person per day in other items in the community.
Rates at the new $20 million Boca Beach Club will start at $200 a night during the season. And it's estimated the 1,600 guests who will visit the Boca Raton Hotel and Club each day will pump hundreds of thousands of dollars into the local economy each year. From the South County Bureau in Boca Raton, I'm Eleanor Schano White, Channel 12 News. So the president took his story to the people last night regarding Brother Billy's dealings with Libya. The question is, did the people buy it?
He tried to lie, you could see it in him, and then you could see when he was honest.
I had an awful lot of confidence when that man spoke. Somehow I just felt that he was telling it exactly like it was, that he wasn't trying to fool anybody, you know, and truthfully I was very impressed with him.
You know, the news media and so forth, and sometimes bring things to front that cause you to doubt, but last night I think he cleared everything up, and I'm perfectly satisfied that he's an honest man.
I would say that relatives all over the world should keep their fingers out of the politics of a man who runs the country.
Oh, I think he's a family man, and I don't think he's a very wise man to be influenced by events like this, by his brother.
After Watergate, nothing really convinces you that he hasn't done anything wrong. But I feel sorry for the man. After all, his relatives, you choose your friends, but your relatives you're stuck with, you know, he has no control over Billy, I'm sure.
I think he's honest enough. He just happens to have a weird brother.
It would appear President Carter at least picked up some sympathy support from people who believe that all of us have at least a couple of weird relatives. And from our brief at-random sampling, the president appeared to score high in the sincerity column. From the South County Bureau in Boca Raton, I'm Eleanor Schano White, Channel 12 News. Security was tight today as the second-degree murder trial of a suspended Deerfield Beach police officer got underway in Broward County Circuit Court. Officer Doug Williams passively watched as the jury selection began. The 22-year-old patrolman has been charged in the shooting death of 19-year-old Willie Junebug McDonald. The incident occurred during the routine investigation of a crap game in Deerfield's West Side Park last April 3rd. Officer Williams contends his gun discharged accidentally during a scuffle with the black construction worker. However, some witnesses say McDonald was lying on the ground with Williams and another officer leaning over him when the fatal shot was fired. Williams was indicted by a Broward grand jury April 18th. The case is among 14 South Florida police incidents being investigated by the U.S. Justice Department, who will be closely monitoring the trial. From the South County Bureau in Fort Lauderdale, I'm Eleanor Schano White, Channel 12 News. No doubt about it, the bulldozer has become the nemesis of many history buffs. However, in this case, instead of burying the past, these giant earth movers are following a careful path to make certain American heritage will be preserved. On August 8th, construction workers building a luxury condominium in Highland Beach unearthed human skeletal remains. Well, since then, a team of anthropologists, headed by Dr. Yasar Ishjan, has confirmed that the site, just a stone's throw from the ocean on State Road A1A, was once that of an Indian burial ground dating back more than 1,500 years.
Yeah, it is possible because our potsherds that we've been finding could be dated as old as 4th century AD. So from any time 4th century AD to present time.
Did you say 4th century?
4th century, 400 AD.
What is happening here is that while Ishjan and his crew diligently dig up history, they must work side by side construction workers who are building for the future.
As long as you won't be on our way in any way, so you're just gonna have to live with this bulldozer there, and I don't mind actually.
Okay. All right, because if there's anything else that we can do for you, just let us know.
Thank you very much.
So far, the dig has produced the remains of more than 70 bodies, believed to have been buried here over perhaps 2 or 3 centuries.
So far, we still have about 10 or 15 ready to be removed and excavated and removed. So I don't know what the total number would be.
Well, it's a perfect example of the past meeting the present. And we'll certainly do everything that we can to be sure that the work that has to be done here will be successfully completed.
So it is indeed a dramatic example of the past and present meeting head-on. However, construction officials want to make certain it's not a collision course where someone might get hurt. In fact, the biggest concern right now is that the heavy equipment is moving so close to the Indian burial site that construction officials may be forced to issue hard hats to the dig team. From the South County Bureau in Highland Beach, I'm Eleanor Schano White, Channel 12 News. Linda Ann Gurney was 15 years old. She had been missing from her San Fernando drive home in Delray Beach since Tuesday. Yesterday morning, about 11 a.m., 2 men going through a pile of garbage northeast of Congress Avenue and Clintmore Road in suburban Boca Raton came upon her nude, beaten body.
Yesterday, after we left the murder scene, we put out a statewide broadcast to all police agencies, and we gave a description of the victim, and Detective Vicki Covington of the Delray Police picked up on the information, and we later identified her positively.
Do you have any suspects at this point?
At this point in the investigation, we're interviewing friends and acquaintances of the victim. We haven't zeroed in on any particular suspects at this time.
Neighbors said authorities are carrying out their investigation with an open mind concerning a possible connection between this case and the unsolved murders of 2 teenage sweethearts whose bodies were found in this same area more than 2 years ago.
That would be John Futch and Cindy Rediger. At this time, we don't know whether it was just coincidence or whether they are related.
Detectives will also be checking to see if there's any possible connection between the Gurney case and 2 other young female murder victims found in South County within the past couple of months. A body discovered floating in the Hillsborough Canal on June 23rd, and another found buried in a ditch west of Power Line Road have never been identified. From the South County Bureau, I'm Eleanor Schano White, Channel 12 News. It all started right here at the Boca Raton Printing Company, located right in the heart of the city. About 8 o'clock yesterday morning, the owner, Edward Harper Jr., came to work, and he noticed a carton containing sheets of bogus $10 bills. Harper called the police.
Subsequently, through interviewing some of the employees and such, we realized that one of the printers in the shop was working for the owner during the day and himself at night, and he was printing up these counterfeit $10 bills. Our information is that it was not organized. It wasn't a ring within the print shop, but the guy was working on his own.
The employee of the Boca Raton Printing Company charged with printing the bogus bills has been identified as 20-year-old Richard Gallo of Delray Beach. Sergeant, any reason to believe that the bogus bills had already been circulated?
Indications were that if they hadn't been, they were about to be.
Boca Raton police turned the case over to the U.S. Secret Service in West Palm Beach, and Channel 12 correspondent Jim Allen picks up the story from there. They're calling it the palm tree caper, but it's more than just a silly, dirty trick. What has happened here on East Camino Real can be described only as deliberate, malicious vandalism. These stately royal palms lining the boulevard had, over the years, become a symbol of the beautiful city. Unfortunately, many of the coconut palms were dying of lethal yellowing, and the city had planted new Malayan palms to replace them. Then suddenly on August 20th, it became apparent someone had taken a machete and slashed 60 baby palms. The question is, what sort of damaged mentality would prompt such an act?
From what I understand, psychiatrists have explained vandalism as not so much a crime as a statement, sort of an indirect expression of hostility or anger. And apparently someone has it in for the city of Boca Raton or those particular people. So it's not, I think this target was chosen for what it was rather than just somebody driving by.
Police admit they have little to go on in the way of leads. However, angry homeowners along East Camino Real and the management of the Boca Raton Hotel and Club are offering a substantial reward. Close to $2,000 will be paid to anyone with information leading to the arrest of the person who committed this senseless act of vandalism. From the South County Bureau in Boca Raton, I'm Eleanor Schano White, Channel 12 News.